Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We are broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I'm your host, Don Yazzie, my co host, Darren Yazzie. And if you stuck around after the show called Chat, welcome in, welcome in. Here's the man of mystery himself, Darren Yazzie.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, we got another banger for you guys, and yeah, as you can see, Don, he's sponsoring the merch to have right there. He comes in white and in black too. So, what's up? Yeah, if you wanna help us and support the research group and the investigations, by all means, get a hold of us and like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your buddies about us. Um, More information, the better, especially when it comes down to the unwritten history and lore. So, especially dealing with the Native American paranormal and stories, by all means, hit us up, and we would like to document and catalog, the unwritten part. So, without further ado, let's bring on our another unwritten uh, book right there. Our guest, the next one. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is Kyle Reese. No, I'm just kidding. Right here. Fukuwaki News. Did I
Yeah.
say it right? I hope I said it right. Fukuwasi News, right? Oh no.
Mhm.
Do we got a delay?
Ooh,
Hey, hey Kyle, can you hear us? Kyle,
technical difficulties.
can you hear us?
right.
Okay,
No?
I took it. I took it.
Oh, hey, see if you can go back out and come back in. I think it'll be working a lot better. But hello everyone. Hello. I am Don Yazzie, your host. Here's Darren Yazzie, the co-host. And we're here with Kyle again, part two, Muskogee myths, and he has a lot of great stories on part one. I would recommend watching that. So this part two, he's gonna get into his stories about his time here on the Navajo Nation. So once upon a time, he was here. So I'm right here in the town. So let's see. Hey Kyle, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. There we go. So how
All right,
you doing, brother?
I'm doing all good. How y'all?
Oh, not too
Oh,
bad,
really
not too
good.
bad. Better now, just taking it easy. It's the end of the day. It's the weekend. We got through another week, and I'm thankful to be here to share this space and time with you. And thank you for your time, first off, brother.
Yeah, no problem. And I was shocked when I got the news. She's like, "Yeah, I might need you." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, everyone's been asking to bring you back and bring Uncle Rico, Jamie Nez. So I want to bring back plenty of people too, but schedules are just going. So we're gonna finish this year. Then next year we're gonna, who knows, we might be just on another level next year and see if we can bring back everyone once again, back to back. So
Yeah.
but other than that though, so how's the weather treating you out your way, Kyle?
Man, it's finally starting to cool off on us. It was trying to bake us alive.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
a couple
awesome,
days I
awesome.
got up hundreds, got up there and stayed up there.
Nice. Mhm. That's awesome, man. So, um, I think we were talking about the deer woman as well, and I know that you mentioned there's a moose man as well. So I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit about the Moose Man.
Huh. That's an interesting one. That's I never heard of that. A moose man.
Yeah,
Um,
this
Or
man one ain't me either.
oh
We
man,
gotta,
see, getting
we
everyone
gotta.
mixed up.
And I was talking about I was talking about Deer Woman. My coworker seen Deer Woman
Mm.
as like a centaur.
he,
Oh yeah, this creepy picture you shared with me right here. Yeah, I looked
Yeah,
at it. It's like a half man, half goat type of deal. And
yeah,
hmm,
there's a lot of things that we have no idea what's up there. And a part of your culture, what does the Muskogee say the origins of all these cryptid creatures that are running around?
I'm
If you
still
might know.
I'm still trying to get to the bottom of some of that too. Some of it like we were saying, some of it just goes back to just they were just here from the beginning too.
hmm,
And then
Mm.
some of them I don't know. I'm trying to figure them out too. That's what got me going in all this. Hearing all y'all that do this, hearing y'all say that you got to learn your culture, you got to learn your history. So that's what got me going in this too. And that's one of the things I'm trying to learn is where some of these origins started.
right. And
But but that one with Deer Woman, that one came over with us. But like we spent it two to three different states, probably even more than that, and then like a couple different tribes come together and may or may not associate, no more with each other. But so I know kind of where them original stories actually came out of. But I know they came back from like that southeastern area all the
Mm.
way over here to Oklahoma with us.
hmm,
'Cause,
Oh yeah.
you got
Mm.
stories that they'll tell, like old stories that they'll tell back from Alabama and Georgia about like Dogman. They'll come all the way back with us, stories like that. And the Spaghetti stories, you'll hear them all the way from over there to all the way, and that's like our shapeshifter, or the one that brings forth bad medicine.
Mm.
I guess they ain't gotta always be bad. That's just the name, I guess, for it when they're practicing that way.
So I take it you guys have the same thing, like a trickster coyote type being out that way too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I need to read up on that too, but there's a story of the trickster. So it'd be like a fox, and then the rabbit. The rabbit could have been a trickster too, though.
yeah, when
Mm.
it comes down to these trickster spirits, they always have a deep understanding, and they're usually quite powerful. And even the coyote for us, as silly as it is, it's a real strong entity, you know, able to scatter the stars,
Yeah, there's some stories that I need to get up on, and like y'all said, next time y'all have me on, I'll have some answers for y'all when it comes to this. But yeah, there's some good stories for what y'all are talking about. I don't know them, and I don't want to start to try to tell y'all. Y'all be like,
Yeah.
this guy.
But I'm glad, I'm happy for you, man, that you're reaching more into your culture and your stories. You'll be able to tell us a bit more every time we talk to you, and
Yeah.
vice versa, and everyone else on the podcast too. I do encourage everybody to look more into their culture and tell us the stories. Tell us where the origin, where you guys come from. So hey,
Hey Kyle, we got a question here from Daryl Log. He mentioned Mothman, so he has a story of a Mothman. And do you guys have anything like that flying around your neck of the woods?
I have to check with people too. I've never really heard one about no Mothman. We got a lot about Bigfoot, water monsters, Sasquatch, tall man.
Mm.
Uh,
yeah. Um, as for myself, yeah, we do. My grandmother did tell us a story about a moth baby. A lady gave birth to a moth, and give it to you. My grandma didn't speak English, and she didn't watch TV because she couldn't understand it. The only thing that she could understand was probably the local radio station out here. Um, so shout out to the local radio station. They've been around for maybe 60 years, 70 years. So um, with that, what my grandmother she told us was, just basically the intro. The lady she gave birth to a moth, and just like the Jersey Devil, that story, the lady giving birth to a beast, that moth flew away, and just like that, that's our origin story for that moth baby on the side.
Mm.
So yeah, maybe that was Mothman. I don't know.
Yeah, we got one like that. It's kind of like the dog man one. My grandma told me one like that too. She was talking about a lady. I think I told this our last episode, a little bit of it, but she was talking about a lady was either making fun of a dog or would treat dogs badly. And like, I think like either like a witch or a medicine man overheard her or seen her one time. And was like, I got something for you. So her firstborn came out looking doggish.
He,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
supposedly he married off though and like went and lived in the woods happily though with his wife.
well, as long as they're happy,
And I ain't never believe it either. I thought my grandma was just pulling my chain until I heard the story from, you know how you get that, like you get them scary stories like that where you're like, this person's probably just lying. And then you hear somebody else tell that story or tell something, and you're like, that person, they weren't
right,
lying.
right. It's it's
Yeah.
uh it's a
Get
unique
that law
feeling.
with my grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for
Especially with the water serpent too. So hearing that, I'm just like, I wish I can hug him. And all credit to him, like our grandparents telling the stories like this to keep it going. The culture, the connections with the monsters. And speaking of monsters, I'm not sure what one do you want to share your scary story of your bunny man. And that creature is one of the
oh
ones that has been seen a lot. And with this birthday that I just came back from, one of my wife's aunt shared a story of a bunny man that she knew somebody ran over one, and I guess that person passed away, half man, half bunny. So
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah. I was I ended up living out
Hello,
in
everyone.
Arizona for a little bit of time, and we were on the way out there when we were moving out there. I had a yellow Monte Carlo, and it broke down like right outside of Albuquerque. I don't know what that little town is. I'm on my uh, I'm on with Don't Whistle. Uh-huh. But anyways, we was sitting out there and the car had broke down, so we was getting it maintenance somewhere outside of Albuquerque, and we was going to pick it up. So we headed out like it had to have been 3:34 in the morning from Page. Headed to Albuquerque to get that Monte Carlo. So when we were headed out there, what's that part that we said? Because I'm not from out there. That part of the res that we figured that
Kabuto.
I was on. Yeah, we were coming around that bend in Cobbito where it straightens out finally. And I seen it. I wasn't driving. I seen it. I thought the driver seen it. But standing off to the side, it was that big. Standing off to the side was this rabbit. And then I don't know why because if I seen it, the headlights had to been on it.
mm,
It comes out into the middle of the road and it stops and it looks at it. And by then we careened into it. Boom. But as it was sitting there, like right before we hit it, it just had this shock. It tried to jump too, but it just had this shocked look on its face.
he,
I don't know if it was a SW, it had to have been drunk.
uh,
but
so
but yeah, it hit us. It knocked the emblem, the middle emblem out because it was an Impala. It
mm,
knocked the emblem and all that out, and all the middle parts of it out. So we went and handled our business in Albuquerque, and we were coming back, and I was like, "Hey, stop! Let me see if I can find your emblem." So I did. I found her emblem and all that, and I was like, "Man, we have to see this rabbit." And I'm talking about that rabbit had to have been the size of like a large dog. So if it would have been laid out, that's what it would have been. Like the
mm,
size of a large dog laid out. I didn't find anything, no blood, nothing. I found just the car parts. That was it.
was so. Was this thing walking on 2 feet, or was it, just trotting
It
along like a rabbit would?
it went from sitting there like how a rabbit would, kind of like how they early in the morning when you see them, how they're like,
Mm.
oh, it was sitting there on the side of the road like that, and then I guess it thought it was gonna be quicker than us, so it like try to leap across the highway, and that's when we were coming up on it and we hit it. I don't know when it was walking out. It started, so it went from sitting there to almost like what was like a Nesquik bunny walk. You know what I mean? Because this thing was big, like freakishly big. And I don't get how the driver didn't see it. But I was
Mm.
talking to some more people that was kind of from out that way, and they was like, well, whatever it was, if it wasn't basically saying that it might have been meant for her and not me.
Right.
And whatever it was, she wasn't supposed to see it, or it was supposed to make her wreck, basically. And like, why I was able to see it is because it wasn't meant for me. So
Mm.
he was like, whatever you did, he was like, hey, stop. It stopped her from like plowing into it. I mean, we still hit it.
Mm.
I was like, man, I don't know. Other than living up there in Kansas, that was my only other time being away from, my people and all the
Mm.
crazy weird stuff that happens here. So see that rabbit like that, and then it had horns too. I mean,
Well, all right. Right now,
that
And it was smiling too, right?
yeah.
really?
What do they
Wow.
call that? What do they call it? A jackalope or something like that?
Yeah, jackalope.
Yeah, jackalope.
So yeah, it was sitting there beside the highway, sitting there. Had like a good sized rack on it because, like I said, it was the size of a large dog. Was getting up, going to walk, and I don't know if it was like I said, I don't know if it was drunk, if it wasn't, or if it figured it was quicker than us. But yeah, right when it seen them lights, that's when it got up from the side of the road and decided to walk out.
Uh, all right, now I got some questions, man, because that just like, wait, what? So that reaction was my legit reaction. So, what you as for horns? Do you mean like a buck, or just like a
Yeah,
ram?
four,
You know,
yeah, 4 point.
4 point. Oh shoot! And what color was this rabbit? And man, I just seen a like a jackrabbit outside just the other day, and I seen those giant bulging eyes on the side, and I can imagine seeing that 5 feet tall. Wow, man, those ugly looking jackrabbits, but man, that's something else.
Yeah, the hard part.
Um,
They got me grilling.
Hey Kyle,
Yeah.
before we go any further, everyone's been asking. They want shake. They want you to make a shake, whatever you're making. They want to know what you're cooking up. So we got the comments rolling to see if we
Uh,
find this. Sorry, off the
got,
topic there. There you go. Look at check him
Ooh,
out there. That's what
got
he's
pork
making.
chop. Yeah, I got pork chops right here, and then in the house I got potatoes and squash.
ooh, man,
Oh,
that
bees,
sounds good. Just
bees, man. Oh
Yeah.
man,
yeah, that's
that's good
that's
stuff,
some good
man.
stuff right there.
Ooh. All right. Answer everyone's questions there. We had the comments rolling
Yeah,
for
and they're like,
you.
man, what you doing? Why he ain't paying attention to us? I
Hey,
thought you said he was all gooders. Yeah.
No, no, they're like, is that an apron? He's wearing an apron. What is he doing, wiggling around in the apron? That's what they're saying. They're like, hey, I want to shake with that fries. What
Free.
they're saying
I'm free from the mental institution for the weekend.
too. So
But yeah, that
so your time on the res, did you see any on the Navajo Nation? Did you see any UFOs or any strange things in the sky?
I would always see orbs. Like when we would go from Page to like Flag or down to Phoenix,
mm,
I would always see orbs on top of the canyon. And I would say stuff, and they would just be like, "Nah, don't look at it." I was
Yeah.
like, "Why?" I was like, "Ah, just don't look at it." Okay.
I think everyone was taken at one point in time on the reservation. So
Hmm.
that's why everyone's like, don't even look at them. Don't even acknowledge them.
And then and since we're on the topic of kind of out there, that would bring me to that to working at Peppers. That's why I was asking you that one time when you was out there. Ask about Peppers. Ask them about Peppers. But yeah, they said when I first moved to town, there was like I was working at the Italian restaurant out there in Page at first, and then I'm going to room there. Let me go get Muskogee Studios so y'all can
Yep.
hear me and see me.
And please mind you,
We
y'all,
got a
if this
question
is
here.
live.
Kyle says,
All
Crazy
right.
Coyote says, my auntie wants to know if he's single.
No, there's a Mrs. Steele.
You broke a lot of hearts there. No, I'm just
Yeah, I know it. I'm gonna get off and have 300 have 300 TikTok followers.
kidding.
Sign that says all
Shout
the
out.
aunties have left.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gonna tell the aunties get
It
out of
is.
the
All the aunties have
negativity.
left. All the single ones at least.
um, so I know when we were chatting on the phone, you mentioned that you think that you were being buttered up and seasoned just like that meat you got there at one point in time to be offered onto the dark side. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really do. This would be absolutely correct because now that I think back on it years later, I think that she had a bring up scarred history or nothing like that, but she had a very ill son. You know, me not knowing, like I said, not knowing the ways out that way at that time, and learning them as I was out there, and then after I had moved back. Yeah, she had a very ill son. I do believe she was gonna chop me up to whatever to make sure her son made it. I mean, you know, in a way, you can't be mad at her, but like, dang, why'd it have to be me? Because we know when I look back and I was thinking about it, like none of her exes fared out well. You know, I won't talk about nobody like that and get nannered, get banned. Hey, he's out here talking about one of our sisters.
No. No, we seen it. We seen quite a few things. That's why we know quite a few things. So,
Man, what's
yeah.
that episode that brings me back? That guy needs to come back and do his part too. That guy y'all was talking about that was saying that. Remember that was his headline. Like, I dated a skinwalker.
Well, Ricky, right?
Dang, I was sitting there like, dang, getting all scared. I was listening to his too. Like, me too, bro, me too. No, she
Yeah, you
seasoned
guys.
me just like that.
Yeah, you guys got the stanky third leg, man. Probably you guys got that in common at least.
But
I'm just
I
playing.
mean, I guess I can't say there wasn't signs though, because like this, the rabbit that somebody told me, they go, well, that's one. I was talking to my homie. He's from mini farms. Yeah, and he was telling me, he goes, well, that was one. He goes, you don't just see no mythical creature. And then he was like, then your skinwalker dream, that wasn't no dream. That was what I was telling me. No, we'll get to that one too. And then then you work at Pepper. He goes, the only haunted restaurant in Page. He goes, what do you mean there weren't signs?
Mm.
Pepper.
Yeah, and then I was on that one. Only it has to still be open. It was like one of the only restaurants in Page. But yeah, Peppers is haunted. Everybody from Arizona.
Oh, just give us a bit more information on that. What to see
I had
what.
started working there. Like I said, I was working at an Italian restaurant first, and you know, you follow the money in any job.
Mm,
So I got on down there because it's connected onto the Marriott. You know, when I had got on down there, that people were telling me they're like, man, it's haunted down there. They was like, we know the old head chef. You know, he passed away subsequently. But yeah, and they go, people that worked there ever since then said that you know the spirit still lingers around there. It was like, you know, not nothing like malevolent, but like something will mess with you though. So I was like, whatever. So first 2.5 months was cool because I wasn't having to close or nothing yet. So I was coming in, working my little 8 hours and then going home and then two other people would do all the closing down. And, you know, good old Native Americans, one of them got fired out. So they was like, hey buddy, you know, you're next up to close. And I was like, oh, all right. So I started closing and I started noticing, like, as I would be shutting everything down, cleaning everything up, putting everything up, when I would be going out and flipping off the last light, something would always fall. I was just like, okay, maybe, me, I was just like, maybe I didn't hang it good, you know what I mean? Or maybe I was just rushing. It's just me. But then I was like, but every night, this is like one of the thoughts I'm starting to get one night. I'm like, but every night something's falling down. So I'm thinking that, and then boom, sure enough, something falls. It was a ladle, fell off the thing into the steam well. Metal on metal. Ting. So I'm walking back there to turn it on, and I know I turned the lights off of me because like the way the kitchen line set up is where I was going to have to pick that spoon up off to into the corner. You can see to like the dry storage and refrigerators and all that. So I was sitting there and I was putting that spoon back, and I know I turned off that light, and that light flips on.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. I was like, that light will just stay on. Sure enough, next day I got in trouble too. They was like, hey, you left that light on back there. I told them too. I was like, no, I didn't. I was like, if y'all watch, I flip it off. I said, if y'all watch the camera, if y'all flip off and then it'll flip back on. So I guess they said they went back and looked. They was like, sure enough. But then that's when they was like, well, we know it's haunted, so we'll let you go. We'll let you slide on that one. And he's like, but next time, can you summon up the courage to go turn it off? Like, yeah, I guess. So I was having to do that like alone for a little bit. Then finally they hired on another night cook. So one time me and this other night cook, we was back in the dry storage, mopping it out, cleaning it, sweeping it up. And in the refrigerator part, they have like their cooler shelves were cool because they're like old library style where they would slide around and all that. So we was on the outside of that in the dry storage part, mopping and sweeping all that out. And you hear all them shelves like we're like, what? We look at each other and we're like, all right, somebody better open up that door. So he grabs it and he opens it. And we look in there and nothing's moved. But it sounded like everything in there should have been just tore up. Or like even one of them shelves would have just like fallen off the rack or something like that. And that's what the dude was like, because it wasn't his first time working there either. He's like, oh, he was, yep, this place is haunted.
No.
Or you
That's
get
what.
that feeling. You get that feeling a lot back there, like you weren't alone.
Hmm. Yeah, that's one of the craziest things. I wonder if they have that on the resume when you sign up. Like, yeah, this place is haunted. Just to let you know, sign off and check the box to to acknowledge.
Nah, they wouldn't do it. But it's just like around here, around my hometown, they ain't gonna tell you that stuff is haunted. They were even telling me, they was like, hey, if you ever want to work for the nation, you have to go back and delete a lot of your page. Like, dang.
I know Page is built on a lot of bad things happen here, and even in these canyons here. Uh, well, first off, the Navajos and the Paiute, they held their ground here in these canyons, and they had guerrilla warfare. They defended against the Americans, of course, the Zuni Scouts, the Hopi Scouts, the Pueblo Scouts, the Apache Scouts, the Navajo Scouts, and the Mexicans and the Mormon militia all came down here trying to get some scalps, Navajo scalps, but they never succeeded. So every summer down in these canyons, they would have a feast, a watermelon feast. The Navajos and the Paiutes, and they would eat all day, to celebrate. But they flooded this whole canyon and made it Lake Powell.
Yeah.
And so whenever they told us that whenever you go to Lake Powell, you give an offering, corn pollen offering before you get into there, because not only it's haunted, there's the water serpent that lives in this water too. So that's one of the two things they always tell us about the lake. And whenever someone dies in the lake, they hunt their family too. So it's always it's pretty much bad juju that area. And from what I know, and also some on the northeast side of Page, there's these caves, series of caves, and I don't know if they blasted it closed because these caves had dark history of skinwalkers inhabiting them and stealing people from across the reservation and cannibalizing them there and ritualistically sacrificing them in them caves, even their own family member, just to have power over another person. That's really evil. That's the objective. So even if it's their own family member, they'll eat them. And they're usually the skinwalker that comes to you, that screams, that puts you to sleep. You're aware, you're awake, but your body's asleep. You can
Hmm.
hear everything that's going on. So that's why I believe that they put you to sleep. You're awake. That's why I believe you're awake when you had that story that you're gonna share with us soon. So that's two of the dark stories that I know of Page, Arizona.
You know, since you mentioned that too, that ability, I heard that too off my father. That when he was on patrol, him and the side rider or whatever, that they were called out to, like a domestic violence, out there on the reservation. When they pulled up, what they said was, one of I guess my father, he just fell asleep out of nowhere, and he was the guy that was driving, and the other one kind of got powder blown in his face. So,
Oh, damn.
uh, what was said about that was it's a relative. So when you fall asleep, on that supernatural side, when their presence are around, it's usually a relative, and they don't want you to see them. So, um, yeah, man, it's weird stuff, weird stuff. But on that
And
conspiracy level too, they they always flood these sacred areas too. I know Havasupa is one of them, Page, and a group of other ones uh, to cover up this hidden these sacred too. So hey, um, maybe they took one out of they took that out of the Bible, flooded it, and you know, mm, now the river afraid is drying up and everything else is coming out. So hey, who knows? So that's a little tinfoil hat
yeah,
illuminable.
they did that here too. There was here in Oklahoma. There's a lot where we, as a tribe, we didn't care so much when the freedmen that came over. What they did with land, and we weren't as concerned as they were. So we were setting up tribal towns, and the freedmen were setting up civilizations and towns, farmland, and they were doing that. And after they did their Sooner Rush and all that, which everybody kind of knows about, it was a lot of towns, like Native American, basically like black towns that were in major populations of where they wanted to put their ranches, banks, civilizations. So like Eufaula is one of them. Like y'all were saying, it flooded out a whole bunch of Native American tribal towns and then small black towns that were around. And then so a lot of the lake it's dammed basically, like you were saying too, because of this, because it sits on top of all these people, ceremonial sites, towns. And that's why there's so much that goes on with Lake Eufaula down here. It's because of, like y'all just said, there's so much that people don't understand. Like you said, you would think it's so easy as yeah, just let them out. It's
Right.
like okay, but you can't do that because they were doing ceremonies there. There's things that have to be done. Basically, what you did when you flooded out, I guess what we're saying is, you opened up a portal. That's all you did without knowing it. You thought you were taking care of one problem, but you made a bigger one. So now
Yeah.
we live with these things.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Darren, you have any questions for Kyle?
Oh yeah. Going back on this rabbit bunny man. Um, what color was the hair on it? Was it just like your Bugs Bunny?
It was like brown, and it was that regular
Hmm.
regular rabbit color. It was just rabbit was on a massive level, but then when it walked, that's what was sketchy. Because when it
Yeah.
walked, that's when I could almost believe it might have been SW because when it walked, it looked different.
Hmm. But
So
it
when it
looked
sat,
different.
when it was crouched, it looked like a large dog or like rabbit, like
Hmm.
you would see before. But then when it walked, it walked humanoid like.
Ye- Yeah, that must be quite a sight. I know I seen a video. I think it's out there in Brownsville. I think it was a couple of Mexican fishermen. So that I'm pretty sure you guys seen it. Uh, seen that dog drinking water and then it stands up and they're like, oh. So that's quite a surprise when you see something do something like that unnatural. So uh, this was during the night too, huh?
Early, really early in the morning. It would have been
Man,
like, about that time left around 3. So that would probably been now 4.
man, even worse, dude. Oh, that's something to see. Quite a sight.
But I mean, even now that I think about it, because uh, when you go down that, all you're coming into and is Black Mesa directly after that. So
Hmm.
then Kant right after that. So you're only going from bad to worse to worser.
Right.
Might as well
Oh
be all
no,
mad in the comments. Not like that.
no, your ex is gonna come back in the comments said you loved it too. Watch.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I was up there one time. We was up there one time, and that's what her family was like. They was like, "Yeah, there's skinwalkers up here on top of this mesa." I was like, "God, let me, let me go back down there."
Yeah, I know. I think we might need to make a map of all these sightings.
Well,
I
they're saying
know,
because of Peabody.
right? Right?
Yeah, I guess they was had that been them then, and it to be able to tell that story that to tell that story that clearly. But they was like, "Yeah, they get a had to keep getting mad at them Peabody boys, because they would keep trying to take that mine because it's on one side of that mesa, and would keep trying to come on this side with it." And then they said that's what they would do to handle them, send them SWs down there, rile them up
Yeah,
a little bit, scare them back.
yeah. But it's always a land dispute. Land dispute. I know we talked with a man. He was talking. He worked with the oil field, and what he was saying was to combat these drilling. They sent in these skinwalkers, and what he was saying was in one night they flipped like 16 trucks. And it's always that land dispute, man. It's powerful stuff. And I know for myself, on my I did a TikTok yesterday and I did mention, like, I think this is a land dispute area that I live on. So a bunch of weird stuff, I'll tell you that much. So
There's some more stuff about where I'm living right here. But yeah, I was visiting with my cousins when I dropped my brother off at college, and he was telling me, he goes, he goes, somewhere on one of these backer properties, on one of my aunt's properties back behind my land, he goes, there's a old ceremonial ground. He goes, and then there was disputes, like he said, there was disputes when they brought it over to the modern day civilization coming in. They're trying to
mm,
keep it back, fight it back. So yeah, he goes, so, and it made it make a lot of sense because I remember some nights my mom would be outside doing her thing, indulging. She would call me out there. That's like where one of my scary stories comes from out here too. We'll have to get into these here in a second. But she called me out there one night and we heard our ceremonial singing. And I was sitting there and I thought I heard it too. And I was like, what? I was like, well, maybe somebody's playing a tape. She goes, oh, who? We live around a bunch of Christians. They're not gonna be out here late listening to stomp dance music. And I was like, oh. So now it makes sense. And my cousin was like, yeah, there's an old ceremonial ground
mm,
directly back behind your house. And then there's another one back where our old family church is too. Probably a lot of them that weren't dated or just died out. Nobody kept record of them.
right.
Or not ceremony, cemeteries too. Come to
Yeah.
find out, there's a lot of times where businesses will go in and buy things, take find graves and not want to say nothing. Hurry up and get them moved out and move them around. They said the Walmart in Dakota here in Oklahoma, they said it's built on an old grave.
Yeah.
I guess that one was like the family sold it, so they were able to excavate that one out. They was like, yeah, if you ever feel like you get spooked out in the back part of Walmart, you probably do.
Yeah, it's a rough thing talking
Um,
about money. You can do a lot of
hey,
wicked stuff
Mr.
with people.
Kyle.
Hmm.
Sorry, Darren. Sorry, I
Sure,
didn't
okay.
mean to cut you off. Some reason I can barely hear you guys, but I can hear Kyle more than Darren. But I should have brought my earphones. So we have a question for you, Mr. Kyle, from Chickmuck44. She's asking if the bunny man's ears was it upright and long.
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one.
They ever flopped over when he was just chilling on the side of the road. But then when he came to run up and seen them lights, they went up.
Oh, alert, huh? Like alert.
Nah. And then by then, that's when I don't know what he was thinking. Like when he came out, I think the point was to make us wreck, honestly, because he knew he was gonna take that hit.
Hmm.
But yeah, he got up, stepped out, took them 2 steps, and then it's like he was thinking about it. He goes, "Yeah, it might not kill me, but this is gonna hurt." He gave that look like, "Oh man, here we go." Blue.
Jeez, man.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah.
you were out SWing by that road, I wasn't driving.
Yeah, that road I know what you're talking about. That's uh family lives down in that area. It's an area where they see people swear that they see gigantic werewolves down there.
Hmm.
Yeah, huge. They're 2 times bigger than the dogs, and some people say that there's also Mexican gray wolves that are living down there that have tracker collar that has like a tracker collar on.
Hmm.
So they said they're like 2 times, 3 times bigger than the dogs.
No, another one. That road where y'all got stuck. That one y'all was trying to when you were doing that live out there in Page.
Right.
That road y'all got stuck on more back down where the elementary is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
When when you take that back road to come into Page that way, when you get up more past that to like that, because it's all farmland. When you get into that first little stretch of farmland right there,
Hmm.
we're coming back that way, coming back from Phoenix. So it's late. It's like 1:32, and on that road there's just a horse just galloping down that road back toward Page.
Hmm.
Man.
Just on his happy little way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the people that are wondering what he's talking about, we did do a live out there in Page, and unfortunately, we just got stuck in the sand, and we spent
It
the whole
was at a
night trying to dig
high.
ourselves up. We are trying to
Yeah.
find ape. What's that place called? Ape.
No, we were there. We made it. We got stuck at Monkey Stadium. That's what we're
Monkey
trying to
Stadium.
find.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we got stuck in the middle of Monkey Stadium because we're looking around. There's a lot of cliffs and rocks around us, and we're like, oh, we found it. We got stuck in it. But shout out to hashtag Mountain Man that saved us out there. Darren's doggies did not had him come home. Other than that, he wouldn't have came back to the hotel at all that morning.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah, everyone was saying that area is very high strange, and they recommended me to whistle out there. And I whistled, and everyone's like, "What's wrong with you? You don't whistle out there." But
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We.
more
Yeah,
power
that
to you.
road, that
Out
road,
there.
that road goes all the way back to that trailer
Well,
park that I'm talking about too. If you really think about it, I mean, you
mhm.
might take like, well, oh yeah, that road would essentially something makes it curve, I think, by that gas station. But yeah, that's essentially the same road that goes into where that trailer park I live. And that trailer park was highly strange too. Now I think about it, more than just the SW incident. Like I didn't know that the shot. I didn't know that the not shotgun. Well, I guess it could be a shotgun or the gunshot noise. I didn't know that for a long time. That was a SW,
Hmm.
but that was a telltale sign of a skinwalker. If you hear that,
Mhm.
because you would hear that all the time. I figured it's just because Page has the airport too. But they're like, yeah, but there's not that many jets that take off out of there. Not like that. Cause yeah, man, I'd be sitting in the living room chilling. You would hear that.
Hmm.
Figured somebody just got drunk was shooting around. And then
Yeah, this,
that makes sense now because the little dude we talk about too, he'd be like, one time he was like, I can't sleep. And we were like, why? He goes, there's something bright. He just walks back and forth down the street all night. We were like, huh? And we didn't think nothing of it. She's like, man, somebody's car lights, like somebody's just coming back and forth all night. He was, nah. And then somebody, I don't know if I heard that from y'all or just doing this. They was like, that's a telltale sign too.
Oh yeah, yeah, be
And
careful.
then just
they see a lot of the little peoples. That's one of their that's one of the things that they do a lot. They go back and forth in areas. Who really knows? Maybe they're just wanting attention, wanting someone to come along just to play with. Who knows?
that would make sense too, because I would like you'd lose a lot of stuff for like a day or two, and then find it right back where you thought you put it. And that's one of ours down here that they'll be like, either you're forgetful or they'll be like, or you got little people.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
one of them ones that they'll be like around here. They'll be like, no, don't talk about them. Well, if you don't
Yep.
talk about them, people ain't gonna know about them.
Yep.
yeah.
So Kyle, tell us how often do you think about Page, Arizona? Like, do you think that would you say that Page, Arizona is this area of the country is more high strangers than your side, or how would you feel like is it more like spiritually thinner the veil here than everywhere else? Because I feel like that.
I feel like it's more. There's more spirits out that way because of whatever that medicine's being made up of. That evil medicine's being made up of. So, like you said, it's opening up a lot of more mini portals, and because I'm not saying there ain't a lot of spirits back here, because there's a lot of spirits here too for the same exact reason. So, to answer the question in whole, I think as you go to all these native communities, you'll find that they're more high strung because of, like we were saying, land disputes and bad medicine being used, and life being lived.
Mm.
Because not every traumatic incident out there or somebody losing their life out there can be attributed to a SW. You know what I mean? How many
Yeah.
people got bit by a timber rattler and couldn't make it back to the Hogan, or let alone, back even before that with old medicine, you know what I mean? Or got just
Mhm.
taken out by a pack of wolves or fell in a
Yeah.
crack, you know what I mean? So
So
that's a lot of that too.
your time out here, would you say that your ancestors, or would you say the people that look after your people were here with you as well? Your time during your time
And
here.
they had, man, they had to have been because there's that they'll have to bring me into telling that Skinwalker story then now too, because what else would have stopped? What else would have stopped it other than me too, my own little willpower? But in that dream, as I get into it, one of the things when I was saying at the end of the dream, to come out of it was, Creator, can you help me? Or asking any of my people back here, help me. And then boom, like that, I woke up.
Mm.
So that one goes. This was also in that trailer parking page that I was talking about. This one goes. One night I was sitting there and I was asleep. I don't know, like we were talking about earlier in the show too. To have fell asleep that quick would have been odd too, because it's like I would have been laying in bed like this, and my window would have been right here. So it's like I just kind of went like this, and like that I was asleep. So then in the dream, there was lights going on the window first, like red, yellow lights that made me look out. So when I look out the window, I would have been looking out into the street and into my um, what would you call that, porch. my porch and all that, and then to the cars and all that, and to the other trailers. So I was looking out there, and I see this werewolf type dog looking thing. And why I say that is because I'm not gonna say it was a complete dog noid thing, because it it was hunched over and walking on all fours, but you could tell it was bipedal, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Kind of like how a werewolf walks. Like you could tell it had the ability to walk on two legs if it really wanted to. So it was sitting up there and it comes up them stairs like that. And it's big and it's loud enough to where I can hear it. And it's sniffing on that door, sniffing on my front door. So then it comes back off the porch and it's walking in between the two trailers. And I'm looking out the window because the window's, on the side of the trailer too. So I'm looking at it and it's walking toward me. And I'm like, still not flying like that. And it sees me. So it looks at me and its eyes, they're yellow this whole time while I was doing that, like it was scanning. So when it seen me and its eyes turned shot red, like the eeriest, bright, glowing red I've ever seen, even for a dream. So when it seen that, everybody knows how most trailers are set up. It shot around to the back side and it was coming up on the washer and dryer part where the back door is on most trailers. So it's sitting on there and it's banging on that back door. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, now I know it's bipedal too, because when it seen me, it locked eyes with me and it took off toward the back. It took off running on 2 feet like that. So it's sitting there, boom, boom. I'm hearing that door, and I'm telling that door only has a few more times for that thing to hit it before it finally gives way. You know how you can tell, like even in real life, what it sounds when the door sounds like when it's about to give way. So that's what it sounded like the nails are just barely hanging in there, or whatever's barely hanging in there. So then it stops and it tries a new tactic. So it's probably banged like 6 times hard as it could, and it's scratching too. And then it stopped, and it goes, "Let me in, let me in. You know who I am. Just let me in." So by now, I'm setting up in the bed, turned toward where that washing room is, and that washing room it's like my room door, and then there's that washing room door. So I'm sitting up there and I'm getting ready for it. So then it goes back to doing that, and you hear that door give way. Doom. So now it only has that door, the inside door, and then my room door is already open. So then it grabs that regular door and it just opens that like how a human would, and it's standing there. So then I'm sitting up now, and I'm sitting up in bed, and I'm like this, toward that door, and that's when I'm just like, Creator, help me, or if anybody back home's listening, talking to a message, talking to a messenger or something, help me out, So you know how when you come to from a dream, it's like you get dropped back in your body. So I get that feeling, and now I'm setting up in my bed like this, the same way I was in that dream, in the exact same spot, sweating and all that, just like how I was in that dream, holding my hand up like that as I woke up. And then so it was like a year later, like I had told y'all, I had told that to my friend from Mini Farms, just like how I told y'all. And that's when he looked at me. "Man, you weren't dreaming." He goes, "That wasn't no dream." He goes, "That's what they do." He goes, "That's what they do to you." He goes, "And what it was is you're not weak minded, so you were able to come out of it, and whatever it was, it got scared, or it got what it wanted, and it was able to take off."
Damn, that's pretty scary, man.
Mhm.
Oh, it's talking to the missus. Are you talking about the ex again? I'm tired of you talking about the Navajo girls. Say it with the southern accent. What did I
Hey,
tell you about them Navajo girls? Good God. Oh, got chased out. She's like, you ain't talking about no SW story in my house. I'm just kidding.
but yeah, that
Chased
was
out.
that one.
Oh, okay, there he is.
And then there was like a pouch in that room too. I don't know if it wasn't able to walk past that pouch or what either. Kind of
Yeah.
like going back to the last one. No, this one's. Kind of going back to that last one I was talking about, my mom's house.
Mm.
How there was all that stuff in there, like them sand paintings and all them dream catchers. Kind of like goes back to the same way. It's like it wasn't able to pass that medicine bag.
Mhm. Hey, after that, after what happened to you there, were you having like recurring nightmares? Were you sleepwalking? Were you just like forgetting what you were doing one moment when you're on a task type of deal? In any accidents? Were you in any accidents?
Oh, but my luck was just kind of bad until I left.
Mm.
And then when I had left and moved home, you know, it would have been like 6 months after I moved home, because me and her were yeah, me and the girl I'm with now, we were together. And we were already living together by then too. Yeah. So one night I was sitting in bed, and once again, I know I was awake. I hear like boots walking. Like I hear flapping at first, and I hear boots walking up to the window because the window was back behind us. Um, and I'm paralyzed. Like I can't move at all. And then I hear boots walk up to that window, and it stops right at that window, like right where I would have been laying my head. And I'm just once again, I'm like stuck, and I'm just panicking, like anything, calling out anything. And finally, I was able to break free. But then you hear that boots walk backwards off that porch, and then you hear that flapping again. So I don't know if them were connected or not connected, because that's more our way, what I just explained
Mm.
with the flapping and all that. But you
You
never know.
mentioned,
People might be in cahoots now. Hey, it might be like an evil network.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Darren, you got a question?
yeah. You mentioned that it got what it wanted and it left. What do you think it came for? Just
Somebody had told me it was an article or something of mine, or clothes, hair.
hmm. Yeah, and that does go.
Chonies.
Yeah.
They
You,
needed the secret ingredients of his underwear sauce. He got
See, I don't
it.
know. I don't know if any. I don't know if anything ever became anything of that, because, like, I came home and we have our ways of protection. And then,
So you did a lot of ceremonies, huh? When you got back, you
yeah,
decided to Epsom salt and clean yourself off, huh?
yeah, good old Irish Spring. And
Wipe the
then,
Navajo off. But man, well, I'm glad you're alive, man, and I'm very thankful that you're a strong-willed and strong-minded person. And I would encourage you to keep it on with prayers and protection. And
yeah,
people are gonna run to you eventually for help, and
for real.
for even talking. And I can already see it there. So I'm thankful again, and I'm glad
Mm.
you're alive, and I'm glad that
that,
she didn't butter you up good enough and put you on the skillet with the apple in your mouth. I'm
I don't know.
glad you're still here, brother.
Uh, yeah, the yeah, that was the only one. I know there was another instance too. I gotta tell this. This was kind of funny. It's not. It's kind of scary and it's kind of funny. One time I was on the phone. I was on the phone with this one back behind me, when we was first getting together, and it was storming. It was storming here real bad, and how'd it go, babe? Were you questioning me about her or something like that?
No, you were laying in bed and it started storming, and I said, "Oh, you better watch out."
Oh,
And it's coming back for you. The
it just
lights are gonna
started
go off.
storming. Yeah, it just started storming. Like, I'm here, and it just was regularly storming, because she's from Oklahoma too, the girl I'm with now. It's storming, and she goes, "Dang!" She goes, "That girl's coming for you." And about that time, the power the power went out. Boy, I was like 28 at the time. All 28 years of me, boy, ran there and got in bed with my little brother. He was like, "Hey, what are you?" He was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, the lights went out." And I said, "She told me that my ex was gonna get me." He goes, "Man, go get back in your bed. She ain't gonna get you."
Oh man.
But yeah, right after she said that though, them lights went out.
Gee,
Oh man,
what's up?
yeah. I
Then
think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
that one that I was talking about when I was telling y'all about laying, I was listening to an episode and Rob was saying something about you have to be careful anyway about where you lay your bed. And I had never heard that until I was listening to his episode, and then it made me think back to that being a reason why that was able to happen too.
Yeah, it, uh, you don't lay in the direction of the dead. That's I think that's what Rob was mentioning. And you know that since he said that, he spoke about it, and I can't help but think and marinate. Like wait, and just connect all the dots. So just positioning of your body, would help you sleep better. You
Mm.
know, so look into it. Look into it, people. Um, but thanks for bringing that up because that sparked my interest too when he said that.
I think
So, uh,
collectively, I think collectively, I don't know about tribally because I know when we start talking say tribally,
mm,
you're starting to talk about people even across seas can be tribal too.
all right.
But natively,
Um.
collectively, natively, we all like to face east. I've noticed that amongst all of us. It's a lot of
Mm.
they'll tell you, face east, face east.
Mhm. Hey, Darren. We got a question from Chickmuck 44. What direction are we to lay?
It was
Next
north
to
to
Darren.
south.
No, just kidding.
Yeah,
North to south. All right.
north to south.
North to south. All right. All
Yeah. Wait, I would have been like, no, I would have been like south to north. That's why I feel like that happened too.
Yep. So yeah, it's
And,
for us, I think I used to hear this a lot growing up. Uh, they say don't eat chili before you go to bed. You have bad dreams. So maybe it's on maybe there's some backlore on that. So
they always told us
maybe,
just don't eat, don't or
right? Don't
digest 30 minutes before you sleep, or you'll get
mm,
bad dreams. And
yep,
then,
Even
like,
sleeping during the day too, you get bad
oh yeah,
dreams.
yep,
they tell us to like don't eat in the dark, don't eat
right,
in the dark, or don't leave your food out, or if you are gonna leave it out, leave a light on it, because you
Oh
never
shit.
know what's in the dark eating off of it with you, or what you're inviting
Dang.
to eat.
yeah.
Mm.
These what we're talking about is these are been passed down. There's usually a backstory, an origin for besides it just being lore. So as you said, collectively, we uh we gather knowledge this way. So if it helps you out, it help you out.
I think that one will go back to that, how certain tribes make a spirit plate per se,
Mm,
or anytime you're leaving food unattended, it's like the same way that spirit might not understand that you're not feeding it,
yeah.
so it
Day
might
of the
have
Dead.
snacked on it. You know what I mean? And you come back and
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, let me eat that. And now you're sick, or we call it sick, but y'all, you know what I mean. When natives say something, it can mean so many actual different things. Like they're like, oh yeah, you're sick, and then but I feel well. Well, I don't mean that type of sick.
Mm,
Jeez. Yeah, like even hey elder medicine bear claw. She said there's a story about spirits taking food. Oh wow. And I know they out there in southern Arizona are some of our Tohono relatives there, the natives, they also celebrate Day of the Dead as well. And they leave food out in the street. And the next day, when they get back to the food, they see teeth marks of their dead relatives, their favorite food. They leave it out there, and they have a picture right by their favorite food. And then when they bite it, when they're smiling, they show their teeth, and their teeth is indented in a watermelon, or they take a bite out of things, and their teeth mark
Mm.
is there. So it just throws another spooky level on the spirit in the food type of deal. And I was also told, you know, maybe a little off the topic, but you're not supposed to eat when you're laying down because only snakes eat when laying down.
yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like
I was
that is
always told that too. Like, I used
see.
to get caught on to a lot for that. Why you eating like an otter?
Uh, uh, Yeah, eating like an otter. Dang. Yeah. So, going back to the topic. So, how does anything else happen to you? Since you've been talking more about more out, I guess you'd say, about the topics. Anything happened recently for you?
Explainable things. There was that time coming up. Oh man, I wish I would have been able to get that one. That would have been a good one. It was the 5th of July. Me and the old lady was out there. She was wanting to light up some fireworks. It wasn't dark yet, but it was getting there. And we was out there, and you just heard this, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, what? I was like, there he is. And she was scared. She was like, no. She goes, that's kids playing, or that's this, or that's that. And I mean, we live out in the middle of the country. I mean, granted, I have neighbors, but they're like a good mile and a half apart. And I'm on 19, so it's very seldom, I guess, would be the thing. Or if you did hear kids, they wouldn't come out that clear. It'd be like very, very like faint.
You're right.
But yeah, you heard it. Something. What I think it was is I think it was an adult was somewhere, because why I'm saying this is, so after we hear them 4 or 5 hollers, man, I was trying to get my phone out. It's like I couldn't. You know how your phone, when something good going on, your phone don't want to work with you. I don't know why. It's like your phone knows. Yeah, I just couldn't get that record going quick enough. So I go down there to light a firework off, and I hear something take off in the woods, kind of head that way. But the way it took off, and like when you grow up in your woods, you know, like a deer, you're gonna hear four something. You're gonna hear the 4 little feet, or you're gonna hear it. Whatever this was, it was two. It was on 2 feet. Took off scampering. But I
Mm,
think what it was them calls was a parent calling a juvenile, to come back.
right.
And it was wandering up on me, wondering what I was doing. And when I went to go light that firework, I probably creeped it out, or I probably thought I seen it, so it took off.
Yeah.
But I
Big.
mean, this place is squatchy. So I always have good ones for you. Me and my grandmother, before she passed away, we used to live out in this house that I'm in now. Just me and her. It was probably like that for like a year and a half. I lived out here, took care of her. Um, she I would be in my room. I had a little twin at the time, and I guess whatever it was would take off walking from one side of the woods to the other, and it would like shake my bed, or it'd be like the Berenstein's. Like, hey, you hear that doom 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 doom.
Mm,
And I was telling that story, I was like, I know ain't nobody gonna believe me. And I was telling that story, and my little brother that just went off to college, he was, I believe you. He goes, I stay in that same room. I've had that exact same feeling. He goes, it is. It's like you watch it walk from one side of the wood line to the other. Because where I live, we're out here, and there's a town of Eufaula, and it has a lake around it. It's like a horseshoe, basically. So I just live up on like another part of the horseshoe. So it's like thick, dense, wooded, and then you get far enough back there, and there's a lake.
mm. Yeah, and as for my Don.
Sorry, rookie mistake here. I was saying that I'm not sure if we covered this on the first episode, but um, what is your tribe's relationship with the little people, and what type of little people do you guys have on your reservation? We have a comment here, Chickmuck saying that she's losing things at her place, and I said maybe a little person, and they asked like what kind of little person, a fairy, and there's multiple different types of little people. Duendes, the gnome type, the Native American type, the very very small ones that look like native type, and the the ones that have the pointy ears and those type beings as well. So I was just wondering what's your tribe say about them?
I think we encounter a little bit of them all because you'll have the ones that look like little us or like little creeks, and then you'll have my grandma told a story about fairies,
Oh, oh,
about like seeing actual fairies, and you'll hear people. I've heard even people like talk about gnomes.
hmm.
So you'll get them all. I don't know if it just comes from the different natives around Oklahoma too, or just like different people that we encountered. Because contact for us would have been like Spanish, French, some of the British, the Irish, a lot of the Irish. So you get a lot of them like gnome stories. You'll get a lot of them leprechaun. I'm always asking people too, like what are your tribe or what do your people think about leprechauns? A lot of them are like they're a good thing, but and even some creeks, they'll be like, oh, they're all right. But a lot of with the Seminoles, they feel like, man, no, man, you stay away from them things. They're death dealers. They only want to bring evil, and you leave their pot of gold alone. And another one I posted was, what do you think about rainbows? Because we all have different beliefs about rainbows too. Like for us, it's a no-no. Like you don't look at it, you don't go chasing it.
Hmm.
Some people will say if you point at it, your fingers will fall off. My grandma said that.
Yeah, yeah,
My grandma
yeah.
would say that, that's how the people with the hand arthritis real bad. She goes, that's what they was doing, was pointing at rainbows.
Hmm.
Yeah. Heck yeah. It's all the same, like every tribe. We all have like the similar teachings, and it's just like it's just further proof that further back in the past we were all one for sure.
Here, here, unlike the hairy man, here, our LP are the one that want to take you off, or like will take kids and women off, or like even like there's stories too about them even wanting to take like the sickly, elderly off, like like them coming up, like you'll hear about the elders, you'll hear stories where the elders was like telling their children or whoever was taking care of them before they went on, like like the little people are coming to me at night and let us take you, let us take you. You won't be in pain no more. You come live with us, and you'll live good. Or like they have cancer, we'll cure you of all that cancer. You don't have to worry about it. Oh, it's almost like still going off to the next, but you're going with the one. There's one told on a podcast like that. It was a Muskogee one, but I've heard that one from other people's tales too. Where there's this one when an old lady was sick, and that's what the little people was coming and telling her was, there was like, let us take you, let us take you. And I guess she was trying to convince her son, she goes, hey, the LP are coming, they want to take me, they want to take me. And he's like, no, no, you're going and you're losing it. She goes, no, no, I'm not. She goes, I'm still here enough to understand what's going on. And I guess like it breaks down to one night. I guess he went in there to check on her, and they were there. So then he talked to them, and they spoke back to him, and they were like, yeah, let us take your mom, and you won't. None of y'all will have to go through this. Like your only hurt will be watching her walk off into the backyard. He goes, but after that, you won't have to go through what you think you'll have to go through.
Hmm.
So I guess that next day he woke up, went in there, and just her clothes was on the bed. And they said that's like signs when you could tell that they took them, or like they'll find children. They'll hear stories, them old stories like that, of they'll find children's clothes in the woodlines. So they're always telling, you'll hear them always telling young mothers or young creek mothers, don't watch your babies by the woodlines. Keep your baby close to you at night, or don't let your babies go by them tree lines. And they'll tell you when you're little too, for spirits and LP. If you hear something calling your name in the woods or over here, over, don't go.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like nowadays, like some of what I grew up being told, if I tell it now, they'll get mad at me. Ah, yeah, quit. You don't tell that. You're gonna scare somebody. Oh, we don't. We don't talk like that no more. It's like, well, that's how I was raised. How do you think I felt being 4, 5, 6 years old, being told things like this? I mean, but it was true. Because then, like I said, it was one of them things. But then you would grow up and you would hear your cousins or hear other children like, "Hey, I heard something over there screaming my name." And then I was like, "Well, what do you want?" One time, and they'd be like, "Well, it was telling me, come here, let's go play, let's go play." And you're like, "Ooh, what Grandma told me was real."
Yeah, yeah, it is. It, it is, and I'm happy and I'm glad you're speaking out about it. And these everybody that's here, we're all like-minded in that way. And I was told the same thing. And we can just share stories like, yeah, I was told that. Just like what we did, or just a couple of minutes ago. That's good for the body. It gives recognition, and you're amongst like-minded individuals that grew up on the reservation, and you're living it. Same here. Uh, so yeah, I'm glad about. I'm happy. I'm really good. Really happy about that for real. Uh, so where do they say they go to? Did they ever say where they take the sickly, or you know, is there a
It's
world that was
basically
named?
you go live with them. So like, how would you put it? Like we know where they are because there's things you get told to like stay away. So you're not supposed to. Our way, you can know and tell all these stories, but you're not supposed to hunt these things. Like if you encounter them, you encounter them. But like certain ones, you're not supposed to physically go hunt them. And that was one that's one that I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of with y'all. Maybe I ain't hunting no little people.
Hmm.
But there's a vine that kind of grows. We've all probably seen it. There's a vine that grows on a tree, and it looks like a ladder. And they say that is what that is. That's what my people will say. They go, that's the little people's ladder. Or they'll tell you, if you have pine trees, you have little people. And another thing they would talk about, the big old knots in trees.
Yeah.
They say that they live in those.
Hmm.
And I heard that they live underground too, just like how moles and all them lives. Like they live out things like that. My cousin said that when he was firefighting out in North Carolina, he said they have when you go far enough out in the thicket, he said they have houses in the trees. It's just like he goes to the untrained or not knowing eye, he goes, you go out there, you'll be like, dang, who can't put all these birdhouses out here? He said, man, them are not birdhouses.
Hmm. Oh, that
Because
probably
then
is
I've
like,
noticed too, it's like I believe they're protected. Either they protect Bigfoot or Bigfoot protects them. Because it seems like that's another telltale sign too. When you get by them, you're normally by Bigfoot.
hmm.
But I was also told that they protect Bigfoot. They work for him, and like if you go chasing after Bigfoot, they'll be the ones that like shoot at you with the little darts and try to make you sick or put medicine on you to make you forget where he was at. Like, man, Bigfoot's just the ringleader. Man. 'Cause I've heard that about
Um,
Dogman. I've heard that about Dogman too, but then I've heard
mm,
Northern natives say the opposite. They go, "No, man, Dogman gives us hell, and Bigfoot comes and sets them straight." Dang.
mm. Um, so going back to the rainbows, um, you guys have like some stories of those leprechauns being pretty aggressive and kidnapping people or kids and women.
Well,
Have
my
you
my
have any
uncle, my
stories
uncle,
like
he was more Florida Seminole, but that's what he was saying. He said you don't remember too many good stories about him.
that?
I always just heard just regular old St. Patrick stuff, than other than the movie Leprechaun. But then I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about that too because I was like, but I don't really remember my uncle to be a scary movie watcher. For him to been like just telling me something that he's seen off of a movie.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, this would have been like
Yeah.
early 2000s. He was telling me this. It was 1 minute after St. Patrick's Day, but that's what he was saying. He goes, everybody thinks like they're so friendly. He goes, and they're so cool. He goes, I've heard the opposite. He goes, I heard you don't want to see one.
Yeah.
He goes, I heard you don't want to take their gold. He goes, and I heard that kind of like oh, what's that one? That famous nursery rhyme that everybody's like, if you talk to certain people, they'll be like, yeah, that's the most famous demon. The one that was weaving the gold and all that, and remember how she had to figure out his name, Rumpelstiltskin. They're like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
Rumpelstiltskin.
It's like if you talk to certain people, they'll be like, yeah, that's the most famous story of a demon you'll ever hear right there.
Mm.
Yeah, just
Like,
Man.
wanting the firstborn is, that's considered evil. It's wicked. It's a wicked demand to ask for the firstborn child.
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Darren, can you show? We got Codega here in the chat. He wants to see the black shirt you
Oh
were
shit!
wearing right
Yeah,
there.
there, guys. Oh,
Oh, yeah, it got
it
blurred.
blurs it.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, hold
Yeah,
on,
we're gonna
guy.
get you gotta get Kyle one pretty soon, man. I'll order you one. Then in the back, I'll make it custom. I'll put world's number one Navajo lover. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's gonna be target on your
And
back
then,
after that. No, I'm just kidding.
but I don't know. It's just, we think, well, now that I've told these stories, and like you said, being able to talk to other people and hear other opinions, one that I've pondered on is when y'all was talking about that house and I was sharing what would happen in there when y'all were telling me, it sounds like you were supposed to be possessed, but you just didn't, or you were too strong. That I go back and think on what, that would make a lot of sense. And then Lawrence is another place like that too. Like we were saying too. I don't know what tribe got kicked out to make that town. On top of a lot of the Civil War being fought there because Lawrence was a free state. So
Mhm.
there was a guy from Missouri that came down. He was representing the South, and he just wasn't happy. He burned all the Lawrence down.
Mhm.
So that happened. I grew up on that part of Lawrence too that was burnt down. Now I didn't realize a lot of this either till we went back and was doing that around there, and I went by the house and I was telling some
Mhm.
stories. I remember it's on my page, but there's this historical house, and it's I guess it was like a farmstead house on the east side, but it's also a historical house because these two boys are known to have left and went and fought in that war and ended up dying. So we were sitting out there. There's a park next to this historical house. So we were sitting out there. We were all chilling, just probably being bad little teenagers, maybe even wanting to be spooked, knowing the story about this house. And sure enough, you seen two entity type things come barreling out the top side of that house and jump down off on the roof and take off running back toward the Kansas River.
Hmm.
And then, but you would also hear people like, we had to visit this house during school times too, like, talking about the history of Lawrence and all that. And kids would always swear when they would be looking in the house that they would see something, like they'd see a woman in there or they'd see a child come up to the window. And it's like, now that all makes sense. And I talked about my junior high. It was old. So in a lot of these bigger cities, there's a lot of old buildings, that helped World War One, World War Two, and they still stand, they still function. And that was the junior high I went to. It was around since World War One. Just a bunch of history. Like you can't even go to the bathroom in peace in there. Something trying to spook you out. I remember I got pushed off the top flight of stairs. I like landed right in front of the vice principal, and she goes, "Why'd you jump?" She was getting ready to like, call mom. Right? I was like, "Oh, I didn't jump. I was pushed." It's like, why would I jump? I don't know. She goes, "Look like you jumped." Then
Oh,
I don't know if I got to that apartment on the other side of the I don't even remember the name. I think they even tore it down, but man, I think that one was built on some part of a reservation because you would see like Native Americans, like I don't know how you would put it. They were Plains Indians, so you know how you see a lot of the powwow regalia. You know, a lot of that comes from playing how Plains Indians dress. So you'd see a
Yeah.
lot of just entities around like that, or you'd see them like walking past the glass partitions of the apartment. And then, like I was telling y'all, I think I told this one. I had got this something told me in my mind. It was like jump, jump, jump. And I thought I had went down to the second floor and jumped. I guess I had jumped from the third floor, but in my mind, I had went down to the second floor and jumped down.
Well, third floor, you jump three stories.
Yeah, when I landed, like 'cause I landed on my feet, but when I landed, it like almost crunched me in half, and boom, I had blood coming out my nose, out of my eyes.
Oh
And
man.
then when I got in the car, my mom, she was, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "You jumped from the third." I said, "I thought I went down to the second and jumped." She goes, "No, you quit right over the rail, came on down."
Wow.
And then my friend, this is my cousin was living there at the time. She was talking about, catching hell because her and her boyfriend they'd be arguing or doing something like stuff would go flying off the walls, or they would hear like something from the back of the house when they'd be arguing in the front. Go, hey, hey,
Oh,
hey.
So in the Muskogee way, what's one of the sayings that you guys say about not whistling at night?
There's just that one that don't whistle at night. And it'll be because you don't know what you're calling for one. You don't know what might be out there listening. Um, let's say monsters or like when you hear say honkas, they'll be like honkas might hear you. So you know what I mean, call them Bigfoot or call them DW, they call them the evil little people. And then
yeah.
another one that I heard that I like that I've really liked and I've heard is that whistling frequency
Hmm.
is the language of spirits, I guess. So when they hear that, they really like want to go check it out.
Right. You know,
You
let
know, that one I forgot who was telling me that one, but it was like, but that's how they do it. You don't even hear people. You don't even, that one's old as dirt though between the tribes, because you'll
right.
even hear people go, "If I ever get attacked, I bet you I'll whistle." Let's go, I'll whistle the whole time.
And uh, that was a good. It was a short discussion, but every word kind of meant a lot. Even when Don and I talked about it, like, what's the name for the podcast? What should we name it? And is don't whistle at night. It's told all the way all over.
That's what he's saying.
Turtle Island and all that everywhere. And it's
Mhm.
even the people that live in the small towns. They tell you that stuff. Don't whistle at night. What's the matter with you? Calling the spirits. So that's there's a foundation to that for the podcast, and you know it does it does mean a lot, and it's heard all over the place. And for the Patreon, uh, look us up, or how would you say it? Find us on Patreon, and we'll give you good reasons why you don't whistle at night.
Yeah,
And most of the time, we do find something. So we're taking it back to don't do as I do. So, and we'll be out there whistling at night. We'll show you guys.
Yeah, it's don't do as I say, don't do as I do.
Right?
Yeah,
don't
like the
whistle at
'80s, man. Be
night.
like, hey, I'm gonna whistle so you guys don't do it. Look what I do, so you don't do it. And then when like working in the pipe fitter industry, a lot of the foremans or superintendents before they're gonna do something, they look at me like, hey, you see this? Yeah, don't ever do this. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, okay. So that's what
Right.
we're doing with this whole deal. And Kyle, during your time in your life, what's one of the most scary stories that really did something to you that made you not want to sleep at night?
Man, I hear so many good ones, man. There's some. It has to be, man. Some of the ones that were told, probably some of my elder stories that I've heard, like some of the ones that I share with y'all about. about Haskell, like that one where my uncles got called to that room where that guy was possessed,
Hmm.
and then back behind him there was a beast starting to come out of his door.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
That one kind of stuck. Then another one shared by my cousin to me over the weekend was my uncle was once again RAing, and I think they said this was Winona from Haskell, and they said that I guess another faculty member was up there, and they go talking about a student. They go, dang, they go, hey, look at this guy coming in all late. He was, I thought I guess he was kind of disappointed when he was telling my uncle that. He goes, look at this guy coming in all late. I thought he was gonna be one of the good ones. So I guess my uncle kind of looked up from the desk. He goes, yeah. And then that guy was like, well, should we go out there and talk to him, or should we do this? And then my uncle kind of sat back all calmly. They said, he said he looked at him and he goes, no. He goes, we're gonna stay right here. And he goes, and whatever that is outside. He goes, we're gonna leave it alone, let it be out there. He goes, because that student and with whoever we're seeing, he goes, that student's upstairs asleep. I checked him in myself. He goes, so whatever that is outside, we're just gonna let it stay out there. And it's like I tell y'all too about that. Not even probably like 6 city blocks over is where I used to live from high school, and that's where I tell you about me and my grandma seeing a mimic.
hmm.
Man.
Stories, stories here. Like I don't know. Some days, some nights I'm bold when I go outside of the car if I have to go get something. And the other nights I'll hear something and because one of them stories will come back to me because like I said, there's a lot of Bigfoot stories from out here. And there's spirit stories. My uncle talked about seeing stuff because we have a driveway. Like most of the properties that the family has, they have a small driveway, but we have like a little longer driveway from off the highway. So a lot of times, like especially during the winter, they'll be looking down there toward the highway, and they'll swear they'll see people down there walking around. I don't know if they're really there or not. My grandma said that she saw an entity walk in off the highway all the way up into the house. I went into her closet.
Oh,
She had to go and tell it. She said she went in there and told it to get out. This wasn't its house. Um, my mom's house, which is around the corner from this one. I talk about call it my aunt's property on my TikTok page, but they got a lot about seeing spirits and Bigfoots up there. This one time we were coming back. It's called Mill Creek Road where that house sits. We were coming back from a ceremony. We were coming back one night, and I was telling my girlfriend about it. And we were by this. There's a tin horn buried out there somewhere. I guess that tin horn's been there since the early 1900s. So we were sitting there, and I was telling her, I said, "Man, there's something like I guess they say there's like a portal back there by that tin horn." I was telling her that. She said that she's seen something, but it got to the point where took her hands off the steering wheel and everything, covered her eyes like this. I was just sitting there like that till we got past that tin horn in my aunt's house. I used to hear the old church members talk about deer hunting back here in these woods and talk about seeing there's a there's a Bigfoot that we got. It's human sized with red eyes and has a tail. They call it a heat. Um, English people call it a heat. Then there's a Creek word for it, but I'm not gonna give it out. Anybody, if you're Muskogee and want to get cursed, ask your people. They'll tell you what it's called. Just give them that description, and they'll give you its name. But yeah, they would talk about dealing with that a lot, and they would talk about like deer hunting and seeing it just out and about, like either foraging or sometimes like I've heard 2 stories where they were trying to deer hunt and it had caught the deer and was already eating it, and they were like seeing it and they try to back off from it because you're not really supposed to look at it, so they back off from it, and they said that they would be walking out back to their car, and 2 stories was they was like walking back toward their car, trying not to look back or see it, and they said it would be standing in a tree, leaning up against a tree, like looking at them, like tempting them again in front of them. And they're like, I don't get how it would have been able to get in front of me and I left it behind me. But they said that two people that used to go to church told that exact same story. And that happened back here in these woods.
Eh,
Yeah. And much of these forests, that the natives were, they're placed on. They usually have stories like that, especially out there in the woods. There's usually something out there watching, and there's usually something out there, observing, or even the water has stories too. So, uh, but one of the things about Native Americans, man, it's kind of like the more in tune with what's around them. The land, and they're able to see stuff like this and encounter Bigfoot, and each tribe has their own symbolism behind them. As for the Navajos, we have songs with them, and he kind of watches the land, he watches over us. So, um, as for your tribe, what's the significance of a Bigfoot, and what's the symbolism behind him, the big guy? And
He's he's helped us throughout the years. He's I mean, there's been times where he's been a nuisance, or you hear stories about it being bad, but a lot of them are good, or like he said, he's really not hunted. He's more respected. I'm not saying there aren't people that do go hunt him, because there are, but
mm,
I mean, they're talking about people that just, I don't know what they're gonna do if they hunt him, because they don't have no intentions of harming him. They're just like, grew up hearing about it, seeing him, hearing him. I just want to see him, like, make sure he's real, real. But a lot of the times, like they said, before it was modernized like it is, that yeah, that we had a connection with him.
mm,
And that he provided some of our medicines, some of our teachings to him.
yep. Yep. What
So
about reptilians?
I have heard a couple where they've talked about like a frog man, or like seeing like a lizard type man. And then we believe in like the horned serpent and stuff like that too. And
Mm.
the stories with the frog man and the lizard man, them are just like cryptids. They were seen by waterways and all that, just chilling out or on rocks. And then the one with the horned serpent, it can be good and bad, just depending on what serpent you're dealing with, or what intentions you have coming to the serpent. Because he's taught us like a lot of medicines and stuff like that. He's supposed to really be the one for us. He's the one on Earth from Creator, so he really does have that ability to like guide us or destroy us. Like I
Mm.
heard one old story one time, like this guy's tribe fell sick, and he didn't know what to do, so he went down by the water's edge, and he got down on his knees, and he was sitting there and he was crying, and he was crying to Creator. And he goes, he goes, I don't know what to do. He goes, everything I've tried isn't working. Every medicine I've tried isn't working. Every remedy I've known that you've taught me isn't working. Every song I've ever heard an elder sing isn't working. And then he goes, I just don't know what to do. And then he said, about that time, they said another warrior had walked up and was like, telling him, come on, it's gonna be all right. Get up, get up. And he goes, just one last time. He goes, Creator, I know you hear me. It's about that time, big old horned serpent came out the water,
Oh,
and sitting there, and it was like shimmering, came out the water, and speaking, they're speaking Greek to each other. And then he told him, Creator sent me because he said you need help. And then he goes, I do need help. And I guess that warrior that was behind him kind of got scared, tried to take off, and that serpent ate that warrior right in front of that leader that was on his knees. And then that serpent asked him, you're not afraid of me? And he goes, well, no. He goes, I was down here begging for help, and you came, said you were the one to help me. And he goes, I am. He goes, I just make sure you're not scared of me. So then he gave him what he needed. He gave him what he needed for that to heal his tribe. And then the same thing with like I guess some of our what would you call that clans? Some of our clans that we have. A lot of times they'll had done something significant in one of our stories.
Um, yeah, I've recently learned about the water serpents. The From a Hopi tribes person. They said that they are at every spring, every river, and they live inside deep underground. And yeah, you're always supposed to give them offering. And there's many different types of colors, like with yellow, red stripes, black, like shimmering black, and in some cases that not only they're swimming in the water, but they're hovering above the ground as well. There's many things that we've yet to learn and relearn in our past. We've known about them. There's pictographs of these serpents in the Southwest. So we've known about these creatures, and I think we're relearning our past in a different type of way. Colonization almost made us forget everything. But
One that I heard,
they've been chasing us
one that I
since.
heard, they was like one of the oldest. They was like one of the oldest serpents that they go. Everybody knows where it lives because they just don't think. And then everybody's like, where? This is on another podcast, I forgot. But it was a Muskogee person saying this. They go the Bermuda Triangle. They go, why do you think so much happens? Planes go down or never found. This and that. And all there they go. Well, one of the serpents lives out there. That's why. One of the oldest ones lives out there. I was like, hey, that's cool.
Mhm. So your time sharing these stories and sharing other people's encounters, has there like been activity in your house, like things moving around and people telling you to not share so much? Have you gotten that before? Have you gotten that yet?
Yeah, I've gotten be careful with the sharing like that. You might call these entities out. And I've had certain people tell me that. I've had more other elders tell me, nah, no, you really can't. They go because everybody talks about them. They go, it's when you say their native name that you're calling. They go, you say Bigfoot all you want. They go, and everybody has their own opinions too. Like, if you're gonna hunt them, if you're not gonna hunt them,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And then, like they were saying, like there's like, well, you can get sick, or like we were saying, where you could call some of these entities to you. As far as like speaking on some of these spirits and talking about this, no, not really. I mean, I get some uneasy feelings when I'm trying to sleep, but I haven't really got nothing that bothers me. But we're also just being a ceremonial person. We're always washing off and doing things, and I'm always talking to Creator. So I think He knows that I mean well, so He protects me in that way. He's like, yeah, he's just telling stories now.
Oh yeah, yeah. New age storytellers. We're the new age ones. Going from around the campfire, visiting remote tribes, and now we're visiting each other over the internet. So times have changed. I tell everyone we're coming from smoke signals to the internet. So give us some time, everyone. We'll have more mics for our Patreon. We'll have more things out there, and oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So Kyle, what would you recommend everyone out there that enjoy these scary places and scary stories? What would you recommend them to protect themselves and take care of themselves?
Oh, that's a good one. Cause I didn't get a lot of this either until we started talking and I started hearing a lot of like what you're saying. To me, I would say whatever your tribe uses, because you know like, we're all different. Some of us are sage animals, and some of us are like, sage ain't really gonna get you nowhere. And
You just it's
cedar,
like
I
when you're
noticed
growing up.
a lot of
Yeah,
us are cedar though. You know, we'll always tell you it's like you really can't go wrong with cedar. It's
yep.
just I know what you're dealing with. I guess that's why we do a lot of this too. Because what I don't know, I know that there's things that other people will know, and I can help them that way. You know what I mean? Or if I don't know nothing about it, I'll even straight up tell them like, man, that's out of my league. But yeah, man, cedar's always a good one. One that was re-brought up to me by some of my kinfolks, and then us doing what we do and hearing y'all talk, and hearing Rob talk is I'd be really iffy about buying the bundles from like the mall and all that, because hey, you don't know who made that, and then I'm sure when you get like an actual sage bundle or actual cedar bundle from a loved one or from a medicine man or medicine provider, you know everything had time taken out of it to be made. Like even what it's wrapped in, I'm sure it has a process to it, to the way that they were feeling and thinking. So I'm just like, do you really want to light something on fire that you got from the mall for 15.99 to try to get rid of something and you don't know who made it, what their headspace was? Did they just get done doing a witching spell on somebody else and then came over here and now they're trying to make your sage bundle?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, Kyle, shoot, man. We're coming down to the end of the
Oh,
wire of tonight's show,
sure.
and I'd like to say thank you for giving us your time, your voice, and your stories here with us on Don't Whistle at Night Nation.
Darren, Darren made rookie mistake too. What
No, I
what
just
was it?
did. I just did. I just want to say, I like your input on that. Like what's their intent? First of all, you're buying it, so they made it just to make it for money. Which is not really a good thing. So, I do recommend you going out there and picking it, and putting your blessings and what you want from it into it yourself.
Pick it yourself.
Yeah, put it in there so you know what you want out of it. What you looking to get out. Lighting the sage and dropping cedar. Um, that's a good idea. I do recommend everybody doing that. You know, Picking it and going and grabbing it yourself. You know, and when you're gonna go pick it, don't pull it out of the ground. Don't do that. That's just horrible. That's just wrong to do that to nature. And also, what's your take on tobacco?
Man, it's a good one. I can't say I got anything bad to say about it. Yeah, yeah. Native, non-native, especially if you're using it the right way, which is it's not hard. It's not hard to use it. It's easy. It's one of them easier ones to use.
Mm,
If you're gonna take something from Mother Nature, you put a little bit of tobacco down. They even say that you know before you go hunting to give some before you walk into that wood line. So then
Oh
we
yeah.
know the woods know
mm,
that you're there, and then if there are any little people, you're giving them that tobacco. 'Cause that's what they want. They want that tobacco too. Even them spirits, them elders, they still want to roll that cigarette up or smoke that peace pipe. So you're giving it to
mm.
them,
Yep.
and
The
then
reason why
yeah, just
the reason
I
why I
forgot to
bring it
do
up.
it one time. We were picking things. I don't have to be too sweet. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking
Mm,
about. And I had another thing I had did wrong. I went up ahead of the people I was with, and I had noticed when I seen wild berries that I had messed up, and I was like, oh man. So about that time, I had started looking back, looking for them, and I noticed where I was at. The ground was starting to stretch. I was
mm,
like, oh man, I gotta find them. And then sure enough, I started stretching. And finally, I was able to like hear them, and I was looking for them. Man, they were only like in a thicket right around the corner from me. But that's what I get for running off on my own. And then we didn't give a tobacco offering before we walked in there.
Oh
So
man.
that's
yeah,
life lesson.
Man,
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. Sorry to mean to cut you guys off, but I just wanted to bring up. Well, we were last weekend. We were at. It was a rerun because we were on the in the we were at work in the field with collaboration with the Hickory Apache tribe in New Mexico, and we were also at the same Bigfoot conservation convention with the Bigfoot Research Organization, and there were bears everywhere. And one of the things that our hand trembler did was give tobacco offering for the bear. And one of the ways that we were taught is to give tobacco to the bear so they won't bother you. You always have to make sure you make peace with the bear. And then going back to the sage, I know like for us Navajos, we don't really burn sage. We don't really use sage that much, and the only thing that we use, one of the things that we use with sage is we add it to our water, and the more sage that we add to the water, the sage will come out of our pores. And then when we go and hunt deer, elk, moose, they'll smell the sage coming from us. They won't smell the signature of human, like a human sense. They'll smell sage in wild, so they wouldn't be alert as much, and you would be able to go up and pet the deer. And staying on sage, the sage that's at the store is usually picked from an endangered species of sage. So please, guys, don't buy tobacco from the store. Don't buy sage from the store. Go pick your tobacco and go pick your sage. Please, guys. That's all I have to say on that. But go ahead, guys.
Yeah, the one from the mall. The only thing it's gonna chase out is me.
Yeah. But
He's like
other
that
than
guy.
that,
Something's
guys.
wrong with him. I lit
Nah,
it
the
up and he
sage
took
smoke.
out.
Nah, the smoke's gonna only follow you around. I'm just kidding. But other than that, boys, we're coming to the end of the show. Kyle, is there any final shout outs you want to give out there?
Oh, I didn't have the Fuswogi news this time, so yeah, this one right here. FUSWVLKE news. That's where y'all can find me on TikTok.
Oh yeah, he does stories, scary stories, and if you want to interact with them, please find him on TikTok, and we're also there too. And we try to be a happy family there. We try to keep contact and share some funny, scary stories. Us natives. Whenever we get afraid or our life is threatened, we follow that up with a joke because it's how we are. So please follow us on those platforms, and we're down to earth as you guys
Part
already know.
three.
Um,
Part three will have to
uh,
be all Oklahoma
oh yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
Oklahoma and some of these stories that I got in. Because like y'all said, I got some good ones coming in.
Mhm.
People are being very very nice and sharing the Fuswogi news. So I'm gonna do them for that.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Oklahoma. Really good food there. Miss your food, Oklahoma. But you want to say any late? You want to say bye to everyone out there, Kyle, before we close out?
But yeah, everybody at Don't Whistle Nation. Anybody coming over to Don't Whistle, check them out. Binge watch them. Anybody coming from Fuswogi News, yeah, check them out. Wouldn't be a Fuswogi without these guys right here.
Oh, hey, we're all one. We're all in the same gigantic brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't whistle at night, Southern, right there, Kyle. Puswogi
yeah.
News. Heck yeah,
Mm.
represent.
I'll be waiting around
Yeah.
October. Maybe I'll hear back from y'all. Yeah.
Oh snap! Speaking of October, hey, announcement out there. Darren and I will be hosting a live stream Bigfoot conference in
Ooh.
Albuquerque, Halloween, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you guys are in Albuquerque, near Albuquerque, Kyle, you're close enough to Albuquerque. You got a little strip of Texas separating us, but
Ain't it?
if you can, I mean, come out. If you guys want to come out and say what's up, please. We'd like the interaction.
Yeah, if you want to say what's up, meet and greet, it's Halloween, so it's a good time to tell stories. Come by and tell our stories and have us document for you guys. So every story falls in place with another one. So it's just one giant. You
Oh
could be
yeah,
the missing piece of the puzzle. So
yeah.
we do got Patreon, so hit us up on Patreon and
Yep. Our hand trembler Lee's gonna be there too. If you guys want a quick reading
He
from
told me to.
Lee.
He told me to wear them. He told me to wear them chaps. I had to. I had to take them in to get the leather sewed.
The assless chaps.
Assless
walk,
chap.
walk in the moonlight. I'm just kidding.
And yeah, for right now, till I figure it out, we try to go live on TikTok every other Sunday
Hey.
for Muskogee news. So it just happens
Oh
to be
yeah.
tomorrow. We'll see if I do it or not. Just just might have to do
Oh man.
for
I
them.
might join you. I might join you while I'm washing my work clothes. But
Oh yeah,
other than that, man, thank you for your time, brother. As always,
no
man.
problem.
Every time we chat, we can just go on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, you got anything you want to say before we close out tonight?
Oh no, thank you guys for all coming in for the week. Yeah, everybody made it in. Come back next week and we'd like to have you guys back. And if you're on the live, jump in, say hello on the message. And even if you have a question, just keep it short and simple. But we would like to hear it. Thank you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next week, everybody stay safe. I want to see everybody back here again.
Yes,
All right.
sir. Before we close out, let's read Mr. Duffy's Bunny Man encounter. The last story right here. Okay, he goes right here. I saw the Easter bunny when I was a little kid. It was like 7 or 8 feet tall with ears. Jeez. It was on our enclosed front porch. I ran right behind it, but when I got outside, it was gone.
Dang.
It looked like one of those Disney characters, like something you would see at Disneyland. Somebody in a costume, but there was nobody that it could have been. And I remember the ears hit the top of the door when I walked through and pushed them backwards. I was right behind it. It was just gone. It ran the entire yard, and my family thought I was crazy. Oh, jeez. Oh,
Jeez.
man. And here's a tip for anyone dealing with duendes, little people. You guys leave an iron horseshoe and nails above the windows and doorways. The little people do not like iron. Quick question here from Crazy Coyote: What happens? What happens after a haunted house burns down? You guys
Ooh.
that?
I think it would
Please.
depend on how what would that word be? How evil whatever it was that became. Because if it hit, I don't know. I would even think it would depend on, you could still see, you know what I mean? You could still, the slab could still be there and you might still see things just because that slab still sits there.
Mm,
Or you might hear things now. You might not see things. Like you might have got rid of that, but now you might hear things. Um, we've had houses burned down in Lawrence and I lived there. You might smell that house like years after they've came, washed it away, done all this, done that, built a new house. You might still smell that burning wood.
Mm.
mm,
People have perished. They say that they smell that burning skin smell like for years afterwards, stuff
jeez.
like this. I don't know. I think it would all depend on whatever it was and how much energy it was producing or what had happened there for it to have been haunted.
Yeah, what happened there? Pending. Jeez. What about you, Darren? What would you say to that question right there from Crazy Coyote?
Well, purification through fire. I think that would be the end of it.
I,
That's for me.
uh, wow. I
So,
would say one way to find out. Let's go to St. Michael's where Cam
oh yeah,
and
that is
Crazy.
right.
Yeah, let's see if see if that clown honks the horn there at the slab. One way to
Dude,
find out.
yeah,
But
for real. That sounds
yeah,
good. That sounds like a challenge.
challenge.
That was a challenge out there.
Yeah.
So we'll go
But
ahead and we'll grab the tiger
What
by
about
the
them?
tail.
What
yeah.
about them stories? I ever heard them stories like that where people got spooked out and like their car breaks down or something like that, and they walk up to a house and they're sitting there chilling all night, or like, and they drive back by it the next day, or they wake up in it the next day and it's a burnt down house. But like that night or whenever they walked up to it, it was a fully functioning house.
Yeah, I hear stories like that, man. Every time it just gets creepier and creepier. So, man, Only
Yeah,
one way to
even
find
like
out, man.
houses too that's been abandoned, the lights are coming on too, like someone's home, and then the power's
There's
just
one
skipping.
my brother-in-law asked me about all the time coming back. There's a back road that'll take you from Henrietta back to number 9, and there's a house, an old ranch house, because there's like all the setups for it and all that from the chutes and all that are next to it. But man, at one time we was driving by it, and sure enough, one of them lights was on. That house has been abandoned for like a year and a half now. But yeah, just one day that kitchen light was on in there.
Mm.
Oh man, yeah, that happens a lot. But gentlemen, the night has come to an end. Um, I'd like to excuse you guys, and first thing I'd like to say is Kyle, thank you for joining us in making this episode your episode. Again, you knocked it out the park, as always, man. Darren,
Ooh.
great job, man. You guys want to say laters before I close out?
Oh, later, guys.
Goodbye.
All right. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you. You have been watching. You have been joining us here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans, 105.3 in the Gulf of Mississippi. So, from myself and I, everyone out there, Don't Whistle at Night Nation, thank you for your ears and your time. I hope you guys have a great week. And whatever you guys do, don't whistle at night. Take it easy, guys. See you later, guys.
Later.
All right.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.